when you're training to do Tengel Umbreg and Tengel Cebola, when you bring this up here, and then you turn out, make sure that you bring this up here. So you start here, bring it up here. When you're doing Tengel Cebola, it's up here almost like your Cimande block number 1, or like you're covering up here by your head. A little bit lower than a full cover, but it feels kind of like a cover. 1, 2. It's definitely done in front of you though, so you don't commit to that motion like all the way back, but it feels kind of like you're doing that. What this is teaching you is not combat application. That's the thing that you have to learn when you're doing these first few jurus, and that's the advice that I want to give you, is that we are not doing combat application. Combat application would be like throw some punches at some people and how to land those punches and where you're hitting on the face and stuff like that. This is how to get a good punch, how to do a solid punch. You're training this, and then back to the chest, and then across and over, okay? This part is teaching you how to initiate those things that hit, and it's teaching you how to get that torque in your punch. No one is ever gonna go like this when they throw a punch, but how do you want to throw the punch? How do you want that punch to look? How do you want that punch to feel? How do you want that power to be expressed? So the idea is, it's this torque in the arm here that's getting you power, okay? So when you hit, it's this, okay? When you do that, you're doing the most exaggerated version of that motion. And then, the exact opposite. When you throw a punch, there's value in the return of your punch. The return of your punch can mean something, it can be something. You do not waste that movement by just randomly pulling that hand back to your fighting stance. That's a waste of an entire motion that you could use for power development for your next strike, or you could use it to parry something on the other side, or do something down low. But the idea is to learn to control the return of your punch. So when you're here and you're learning this mechanics behind the power, and you'll notice that I'm not doing my punch like this, I'm doing my punch like this. Punches that come from the inside like that are not telegraphed, okay? It's one of the other reasons why we train. So we're here, 1, 2. This other hand touches. This is so you have a sense of where the other hand is while you punch. So instead of just doing this back and forth, these punches have a little essence to them that allows a little bit of sensitivity for what to do with the other hand if something goes wrong. Instead of having to locate that hand with your brain, this tells you when I'm throwing this strike here or when I'm throwing this strike here, this hand is touching here so that I know where it is without having to think about it. It can just come out and do whatever it needs to do, okay? So if we're here, we've done this. Now the return of the punch. The return of the punch comes from here. This hand is touching here. And we come back to the chest with both, okay? That's learning how to hit something and then pull your hand back. One of the best expressions of how I can illustrate this point in a way that makes a lot of sense to people is if you're out here punching and someone has a knife. You don't want to go out here and just keep your punches out here. You want to hit and get that hand back as quickly as possible. So we'll hit to get rid of the knife on someone, and we don't want to leave our punches out here like this, because that's how you get your wrist slip. So you think to bring that back as quickly as possible. You control the return. So we're here, 1, 2, now back together. 3, across the center line, and back to the center, okay? So when you finish your punch here, 2, okay, bring it back here, 2, cross the center, and then back here, okay? So I notice a lot of times you guys are doing this stuff a little bit lower. Just make sure that you keep it up. If you look at the applications in like the wraps and the throws and things like that, this return to your position here is basically takedown gold. You can use this for all kinds of different things, and the fact that you're keeping it tight to your body means that when you do it on a human being, that stuff is going to be super tight and super controlled, and it's compact, and you're getting a hold of someone very tightly instead of a loose, relaxed position for your throw, which someone can slip out of. Okay? So returning to this position has a ridiculous amount of value in terms of combat applications. When it comes to your khalid and salute, when you're doing your motion here, Again, this is not application. You are not learning something that you are going to use on a person. Can I teach you how to? Absolutely. But was it meant for that in the Jurus? No. Okay? In the Jurus, this is meant to teach you the alignment for your parry. It comes up here, it aligns with your shoulder, the other hand comes underneath, so that while you're parrying here, this can cover low if someone sneaks a knife out in the middle of your parry. And that's reality. Reality is not to fight here. That's how you get stabbed underneath. Reality is to fight here, where you have something that can cover high and cover low at the same time. Okay? So when you do your parry, this part is teaching you to align yourself for this. Okay? It's perfectly aligned like a triangle. Okay? Here and here. If this comes too far away from the body, this now is only using power from the shoulder muscles instead of being locked in place here, which aligns it with the actual musculature and the bone structure, which puts the power into the back foot. When you get up here, it's just like your rotator cuff is using this, this muscle right here to be able to stop whatever's happening here. So you keep it here. It's more compact, and you press in here. Okay? So when you parry, it's not this way. It's forward towards their opposite shoulder. Then you stop right at the center line. Now we'll bring this underneath. This is, again, it's not combat application. It's teaching you how to do a good form. So you're here, and now you lift this up. Because if you don't, then when you do your form, you're hitting across. We don't want to hit across. I just got your arm. I don't want to throw your arm away. I want to keep your arm. So when I'm here, and I come underneath here, it's aligning my arm so that when I unfold this, it comes in and down. Okay? Massive difference between what's happening in one scenario and what's happening in the other. In one scenario, you're wiping something off. In the other scenario, you're pressing something forward into someone. It's crushing their arm back into their body. Okay? And that's what Cimande Jurus Khalid does. It kind of dodges out of the way, and then it compacts everything into their body to disrupt their center line. Okay? Can you use Khalid to wipe something off? Absolutely. But that is Jurus-san. That's an application of the Jurus, not the Jurus. The Jurus has a very specific desired effect. That parry goes to a very, very specific place. It pushes that punch towards this shoulder. Okay? So if we're here and I'm parrying this punch towards this shoulder, and when I parry it, it doesn't go across this way, it goes in this way. Okay? So when I'm here and I parry this in, it aligns this arm so that when I hit it, it can be compacted into the body. Okay? Huge difference between knocking something away and crushing it into the body. Salute is the exact same thing. I just parry a little higher up the arm here, and then it comes on the inside here. But it's the same concept. I parry here towards that shoulder at the center. This elbow is out, which helps me to align everything for this. Okay? And this has a hit to it. So it's here, here, or here, here. And it hits in. Okay? And it's got that crack to it. Alright? So there are some things for you to work with the first 4 Jurus.